Tell us which countries attended the summit and what is unique about this gathering.
The results of the recent BRICS Summit will actually determine the future of the US dollar. The long-awaited BRICS Summit was attended by all the organization's permanent members: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as well as 40 other countries. And it was a huge affair with a large number of countries waiting to be admitted to the organization. Interestingly, politicians in these countries have long stated that BRICS is developing its own currency for international trade, which will end the dollar's hegemony as the world's reserve currency. The United States is using the dollar status as the world's reserve currency as a weapon against the so-called disobedient countries, imposing sanctions that prevent those countries from using the dollar in global trade, therefore plunging them in economic crisis and misery. And so because of this, the United States is able, because it continues to do this, is able to print large amounts of unbacked dollars and distribute them for international use. This means that the rest of the world works for the United States while the US only prints dollars for them. The global dollar reserve, which is at 58%, continues to plummet.
What will happen if the BRICS issue a new currency like this?
If the BRICS issue a new currency like this, it will be devastating to the dollar and the US economy. The US economy will not be able to afford the luxury of printing out without cover anymore, and the national debt will keep rising.
Is there a possibility of this plan failing?
Now, India has expressed some hesitation, but even if this plan fails due to India's insecurity, the Chinese yuan is on its way to filling the void. In fact, according to the Financial Times, China intends to make the BRICS a geopolitical rival to the G7. Now, BRICS countries have already surpassed the G7, accounting for nearly 31.5% of global GDP compared to the 30.7% for the G7. And these figures, this 31.5%, is only the GDPs of the founding BRICS countries, and not those who have applied and are waiting acceptance, such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Venezuela, and others, for a total of 15 countries in line waiting to be accepted into the BRICS. Another difference is that the BRICS are not controlled by China, and all members are equal, unlike the G7, in which all members obey the US. Keep in mind that if Saudi Arabia is admitted, the end of petrodollars will be the most painful blow to the dollar. The BRICS will manage the majority of the world's resources, including oil, gas, lithium, gallium, and other critical materials needed for advanced technology. Before the Ukrainian war, BRICS was not particularly active and did not appear to have a very bright future. However, in the current administration of the current US President Biden, they can claim another history for bringing to the rise and the commerce of the destruction of the American hegemony. India is also advocating for de-dollarization. India has taken another step towards accelerating the de-dollarization and increasing their bilateral trade. In fact, the India Oil Corp, which is India's largest oil refinery, has switched to trading in national currencies with the UAE, a pro-Western state. India is actually not the most closely aligned with China or Russia, but it is neutral. And their foreign minister, Jai Shankar, is an extremely intelligent man. They are already relocating the world's largest oil company and de-dollarizing with the United Arab Emirates. They have purchased over 1 million barrels of oil from Abu Dhabi National Oil Company in Indian rupees. That is actually a very alarming situation for a country like the United States.
This sounds interesting, but do we already have some indicators pointing to a possible success of BRICS currency? Or is it all about what the leaders believe can happen?
Now, just to be clear, The following are the gross wealth losses and gains of the listed countries in 2022.